welcome back, Party XP listeners. Thank you for coming in for another episode again. I'm your host, Lakan, and I'm joined here again by my friend Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
And it's been a little while here. Let's do a little bit of catching up here. It's actually been a minute since we've actually gotten a chance to talk, like normally for a little bit, actually. So this is our first episode here, post-COVID for both of us.
Yep. We both had the thing.
Yeah. So I was supposed to go. I think I mentioned on a couple episodes before. I was supposed to go out for a wedding. And unfortunately, I caught COVID 2 days before my flight out, and I could have gotten onto a plane, but I would have felt like a jerk. That's just me. And I just basically said I'm not going to go. And I did have a couple of days where I felt kind of rough, and I ended up just not staying home. Luckily, nothing too crazy. Pretty rough cough, some chills, a little bit of a fever. But for the most part, I was kind of able to just kind of deal with it for the most part. Like body aches, headaches, and the typical like, I basically had a bad flu. That's essentially how I felt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was at least on my end. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I had the cough, I had the congestion, I had the digestive problems that come with it. So that was a lot of fun.
Gross.
But otherwise, yeah, like you said, it kind of felt like the flu. It was gone after a couple of days. And now I just kind of been feeling basically it feels like allergies for the last couple of days. And but otherwise, like I didn't get it that bad, and I'm thankful for that. Like I wasn't on my ass. Like I was working the whole time.
I had a couple of days where I was just like, I cannot get up. Like it felt like in the muscle. I think for me the confusing part for me was the muscle aches, because it felt like I had just like worked out, but clearly not, obviously, because I'm just stuck in bed.
Yeah,
and I would
no,
get up and try to move, and it was just like, what the hell? I feel like everything has been like destroyed from the night before of like a basketball game or something. You know what I mean? Like just that everything just hurts to move.
No, I do know completely, because I was sore after the gym before the Friday I went to the wedding where I ended up getting this thing, and then like my soreness after the gym wasn't going away. And I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, that's when you started like the flag started coming up, basically, right? Yeah, like I really wasn't feeling great right before I caught it. I think I just had like a cold. I was kind of just run down the last couple of days before that, but I was like, okay, I just been up, like late. I've been staying at work late. We've had a little bit of overtime, and then we went out for a couple of video game hunts, and I was just like, oh, I'm super run down. And then I just felt worse and worse and worse. And then I was like, okay, like a couple of days, I was like, okay, I feel okay, it's fine. And then I went to work. Somebody was gross at work, and I'm like, okay, just stay away from that person. I'm flying out in a week. I'm just gonna stay away from them. Unfortunately, they're like a bit of like an older auntie like kind of person. Right. They're very nice, but they just want to come over and talk to you. And I'm like, get away from me, please. You're coughing. You're gross. At this moment, you are very gross, and please stay away from me. But yeah, so basically, I was like, oh, I pretty damn sure I know who I caught it from. Unfortunately, yeah, and so I ended up canceling, not being able to go to the wedding. Kind of out of like a personal responsibility kind of feel. I would have felt bad if I went and then gave everybody COVID.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
I've already tried to be, considerate everybody around me in the first place. So I was like, okay, I'll just lock myself in my room, and if I don't feel terrible, then maybe I pop a negative test, then I'll fly out. I was able to move my flight over like 2 days, and no luck, unfortunately. And and then after that, I had a little bit of regular life going on. I went to karaoke for the first time in a while.
Oh,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. It's funny because this was actually for my birthday a couple months ago,
right? And
during like the weekend of my birthday, like 6 people had bailed because something came up for them. Like they're like in a friend group, right? And something came up. Like I never pried into it. Like if it's 6 people and something came up, it's like, this sounds possibly serious, so I'm just not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna push. You know what I mean? Might have been something. Could have just been just their own personal schedules. Just got something came up, but I was like, okay, whatever. And then so we were gonna go last month, and then things just were every weekend was just slammed. Couldn't do it. Just no go. And then we were like, okay, you know what? We'll do it after you come back from the wedding. Didn't have the wedding anyway, obviously. But so it basically became like after COVID, I went tested negative, and then went to work a couple days, and then went to karaoke that weekend. And it was a good time. I haven't done karaoke in a while. our friend group usually gets around to it every once in a while as well too. You know, we usually do like a singular like 1 or 2 karaoke sessions a year. You know, it's not something we do regularly, but it's something fun. You know what I mean? Just something fun to break up the usual us going to a bar or restaurant or just kind of hanging out like in smaller groups over the weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's fun. I also just did something Asian for the first time in a while, and that was hit up K-pot. So, Korean
nice.
barbecue.
I haven't had Korean barbecue in a minute. Actually, no. Yeah, same. Actually, I haven't had that since last month when I went to Maryland, and I went to a place I'd been to in a while. If you're ever in Maryland, Jeff, there's a place called JiBo, which is very good. It's pretty decently priced too, like $20 or $30, I think, for dinner. The quality of the food's good, and also I love the sides. The quality of the sides there are fantastic. I love like the spicy tofu soup and like the egg soup, very very good. You know, a bunch of veggies, a bunch of kimchi, you know, the usual stuff. But like the sides are like all about it with that place. It's so good. And I put away bowls of rice like a monster whenever I'm there because I'm just putting meat on top of it and just going to town. Oh, it's so good. But yeah,
no, I am just thinking about the beef ribs and the lamb that I had. It was great.
I still remember the last time we went there. I went there for the first time with you guys, and I had lamb for the first time in like 20 years with you guys there. And I still get what you mean. Like the texture's good, and like the flavor is very very different from other meats. Still not for me, but I do understand what you were talking about before.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly my shit. I love it.
Yeah, I'm more of a pork or a beef bulgogi kind of guy. Maybe a little.
I am also a pork and or beef bulgogi guy. Please don't misinterpret. You know,
I am definitely personally. So it's a me thing. Okay.
Oh yeah, no problem.
I get you. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go ahead and roll into our topic here. And so I'm going to be throwing out our first non-gaming topic here. And this one's going to be a topic that I am very much so a fan of. And I'm curious to see what your experience will be after you've done a little bit of a dive into this. We've talked about it within our friend group, and you related to something else that you very much so enjoy. And that thing that you enjoy is pro wrestling.
Correct.
And I don't get pro wrestling. Well, I get it, but I'm not a big fan of it. I will watch it, and I understand that it's the performance aspect to it, and that's all good. But it doesn't have enough cute anime girls in it. So what I'm gonna do is I watch essentially the equivalent of pro wrestling, but with only cute anime girls. Jeff, the topic for this episode is Vtubers.
Okay. How do I watch these people?
I will definitely explain it to you. I'm gonna go ahead and just give a quick description here, or a quick explanation. I got some bullet points here for you on what VTubers actually are. Because if you are a normie listener, you may not have even heard of these, or you may have seen like a YouTube clip or something, or a TikTok. I don't use TikTok, so I'm assuming there's something there for it. Of these anime avatars that are talking like regular people. Either in Japanese or in Indonesian or Filipino or English or Spanish for that matter. Actually, there's a lot of them. So VTubers, they are online entertainers who use virtual avatars. The trend started in Japan in the mid 2010s and is a shorthand of virtual YouTuber. But there are also VTubers streaming on Nico Nico, Twitch, Bilibili, and like other live streaming services. There's somebody who used to stream on I forgot what it's called, on Chatterbait for that matter. Actually, there was, and I think she still does, but she also streamed on Twitch. The first entertainer to use the term virtual YouTuber is Kizuna. I'm sure you've heard that name before. You're kind of in the anime sphere, right?
I've never heard of this person
really
in my life.
I feel like if you look her up right now, you will know exactly who I'm talking about.
How do I spell this?
Kizuna, Kizuna, and then AI.
Oh, I think I've seen this.
Yeah,
yes, I've seen this.
She was like I think there was like a clip of her forever ago where she was just screaming like "fuck you," like in a voice chat of like a video game.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and she was
very well could have been.
Yeah, and she was like the first one to have like true mainstream success. She blew up like in Japan because of her personality. Her avatar is very cute. And then her streaming, or well, it's not streaming, but I think she did like YouTube like videos. She did like, you know, kind of like a YouTube edit kind of deal, like a stream. You know what I mean? So an avatar is typically animated using a webcam and software which captures the streamer's facial and body actions and then is mapped to an avatar. And a lot of streamers actually use an iPhone because iPhones have that really good camera array in the front of it, like the facial camera. They're really good at face mapping. So a lot of them actually use like an iPhone connected to the PC, which connects to something, and then, you know, puts the image out for streaming. VTubers often play a character. Lore is written about their character and possibly expanded on during their streams and, you know, their usual antics. And I believe this is kayfabe. Is this a proper like simple term explanation of the term?
Kinda. Yeah, I think it's the closest thing that the virtual VTubers have to quote kayfabe, quote unquote, right?
Okay.
Like so when you're keeping it in the realm of the business or of the entity that you're trying to protect, I guess is the word, or under the sphere of influence of the content. I guess it's the closest thing. I'm trying to make sense of this as best I can here, but I think you're on the right track. Like,
okay.
I think that is the closest thing, yeah, to what in the biz they call kayfabe. Brother.
Cool. Okay. So, and for the listener, I've had Jeff and our other friends try to explain kayfabe to me multiple times, and I feel like I still don't get it. This is the closest thing that I think I'm going to get to it, essentially, until something clicks one day down the line. But we've been at this kayfabe explanation for, I want to say, like 2 years at this point. And for some reason, I'm not getting it. But I want to try to understand this.
It's basically just like you said. It's basically just the lore as it exists in the content only.
Okay.
It does not take into account
personal
any outside influence. Okay. It's just what happens on the wrestling program.
Got it. Oh, there you go. So 2 years later, I finally understand kayfabe. It is the it is the performance side of the personality, not the real personality, or at least separated from it.
And everything that exists within the
performance and the expanded
the
world of the
content.
Performance. Got it.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Okay, not for me to lock them to memory, so that way 2 months from now, when our friends are talking about, you and our other friends are talking about wrestling, I don't just forget the term kayfabe and forget the actual definition of it. Cool.
Right.
Got it. So characters, the VTuber characters range from, you know, boys, girls, men, adult, because obviously you have to be of a certain age to stream anyway. Animals, bugs, moe anthropomorphs, demons, angels, basically anything. There's literally a Shiba Inu VTuber.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a typical Shiba Inu you would see in an anime, and then they just mapped it to somebody's face, so the mouth opens when they talk. It's very cute. Pro wrestler. We're gonna do a lot of references here because I don't understand pro wrestling, but our friends do, and I'm gonna try my best to explain essentially or make these connections so that way Jeff here can understand what exactly more or less what I'm trying to do here with VTubers.
Mm-hmm.
Pro wrestler Mace streams as a VTuber on Twitch. And he has said in an interview, or I think on our comment during one of the streams, that both professions were literally the same thing.
Yeah.
So for hearing it from like a wrestler, like actually seeing the clip of him saying it, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So there is like this clearly like this like bridge or this connection that these two seemingly very different things actually have very much so in common.
Oh yeah. Mace is formerly Brennan Williams. He used to play for the Houston Texans, and then when his football career ended, he transitioned into professional wrestling. He started working for Booker T's promotion. You might remember that name.
I know Booker T. That's a Spinaroonie guy,
so
right?
he started working for Reality of Wrestling. Yes, the Spinaroonie man. Very good. So he started working for Reality of Wrestling, and then he got picked up by WWE, and throughout his career, he's always been a big anime fan. He was infamous. I believe he brought a Dakimakura to training camp.
Oh, that's awesome.
Don't quote me on it.
He's a cultured man.
I really want to say, and I know this is the fun part where I don't say anything as I try
as
to
you're
Google
as you're googling, it's fine. I will continue.
Right.
I will continue with my bullet points here. When you get to that point, send me it on Discord, and I will look it up.
Oh yeah, here,
Okay.
hold on.
So
I'm just gonna send it to you.
There was a large bump of VTubers after Kizuna Ai's sudden popularity. Again, like her videos. She was mostly on like YouTube and I think Nico. I think there's a Japanese streaming site. And then
I believe you're right. Yes.
And then they basically just blew up. And then agencies like Hololive, Niji Sanji, 774 Inc., Nori Pro, V Shoujo started showing up between 2017, 2021, and to this day, 2020, there was a boom of VTuber content. I don't know if you ever noticed any of it on YouTube, but it was during the beginning of the pandemic. People were stuck inside. There was a lack of anime that season, and the ones that had already come out, some people were kind of like lukewarm on them, so they weren't really watching a whole lot of them and sticking with it. But there was a large uptick of people watching multilingual streamers or clippers, multilingual streamers or clippers adding translated subtitles to clips of streamers. Like a perfect example of this recently, actually, the Kirby 30th anniversary concert just happened, and in the live chat of the concert being streamed on YouTube, there's usually like one or two people who speak both Japanese and English, basically translating like the interview parts for the English audience, which is like, you'll see them in the chat, like, and like if you like don't do it for like live chat, you do it for like top chat, like usually one person will, that comment will be very, very visible for everybody for like, a split second. You can scroll up in the chat, chat will essentially pause and you could read it, to understand the context of what they're actually talking about, because obviously there are fans of the content who don't speak the language, not just Kirby, but obviously in regards to like VTubers as well. And if you ever look at most super chatted channels on YouTube, usually 7 to 9 VTubers populate the top 10. If
I'm gonna go ahead and send you the only VTuber thing that I have ever come across in my feed for whatever reason.
Really? And I'm surprised because you like anime, so I'm surprised it hasn't showed up more. I guess maybe I'm a little more quote unquote cultured, and by cultured I mean degenerate than you are.
Complete fucking degenerate. You're gonna go ahead and watch this right now, and you're gonna splice this in because everybody needs to hear this.
Okay.
And so this is really what this is it right here.
So I will leave the audio in for this part right here. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh yeah.
I will leave the audio in. Oh, yo, Sakura Miko. Yeah, this is a great clip. This is actually what blew up her career. This is actually like
oh really? Because it's so funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and listeners, there will be some language in this clip. Just a warning for you, okay?
As if I didn't just say fuck.
Well,
I'm not saying the other one.
There's another word in this clip here.
The gamer word's coming up.
So listener, please. So there's a pink-haired, cute anime girl playing GTA.
Yep, and this is the scene where you playing as Franklin and Lamar get into it after I believe you crashed the company car for the company you were working for.
Yes.
It's still funny to me.
Oh, fuck yeah! This is the shit! Kill me!
I wish I just had the raw clip and I didn't have all this other crap with it. But...
honestly, there's more to this video, but that's all you really need to hear. It's basically it's a cute anime girl saying the gamer word or the N word for other people who are not gamer.
Right.
And it's funny because there's a lot of these clips in floating around, especially around that time, because a lot of them would play Western games not realizing what the English actually means.
Correct.
And it's very funny out of context. And then even with context, when like she actually acknowledged like, oh, that's not a good word to say. That's embarrassing. That's very embarrassing. Yeah. It's like in the moment for like us, Westerners, it's just like, what is happening? What happened here? Hilarious. Because again, cute anime girl, like literally dressed as a shrine maiden with pink hair. Her name is Sakura Miko, by the way.
Right.
And she's from Hololive. And so
oh really?
Yeah, she's from Hololive. She's from the big mega cover corporation.
Oh.
And it's just like, for again, with no context, it's like, this is insane. What is happening? I don't understand what's happening. And basically that clip exploded on YouTube, on Snapchat, on Instagram, like the Reels thing. You know what I mean? People are just like, this is hilarious. This is absolutely insane that this is happening. And then some people are like, that's funny, cool, lock that into the vault, and that's it. Move on with your life, right? Other people like me fall down the rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I am very much. Oh, and I just saw the photo of the picture of the Dakimakura that he brought to.
That's. I don't know if he brought it to training camp. Actually, all I know is that he does have it, and it is of Asuka from Evangelion.
Yep, Evangelion. Yep, that is a quality Dakimakura.
I'm gonna have to make like a whole recommended reading section at the bottom of the description here.
Maybe we should rattle off all the references we're making in some of these episodes, especially when they're getting a little bit deep. Maybe we'll figure it out.
Well, this is definitely going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Well,
right.
I'm dragging you down with me, buddy. You can kick and scream and fight your way back out of it, but for me, I'm very comfortably in here.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, go.
No. I was just going to ask you. All right. So where do I find these people? How do I get here?
I will just say YouTube. That's the first thing to look up. What I'm going to recommend to you is, so you don't destroy your own personal YouTube feed, is I would create a secondary YouTube account. So that way it can also populate with mostly clips of VTubers. And I want you to kind of just like check in on this. Okay. I will send you a couple clips, or I'll send you a couple recommendations of who I watch, and I will mention a couple as well here during the beginning of this episode. And then on the second half, when we talk about it more, we'll see how the algorithm was in terms of feeding you more VTubers, how the algorithm plays into feeding you anime content as well, because they're really closely connected. Usually, if you're a fan of anime, you'll see like a clip floating around of VTubers on your timeline, basically, or on your screen.
So one of these anime girls is discovering Warhammer.
Yes, I know that clip as well.
Warhammer.
Yep.
You know this clip? Okay.
I know that clip, yeah. So
I'm gonna start here.
Okay, so if you want to start there, that's perfectly fine. I'll talk a little bit more about this as I finish through my notes. I've got a couple more here just to explain again just the history. There's a short, very very short, missing a lot of details history of VTubers here. Okay, so I mentioned before that there were out of the top 10 most super chatted channels on YouTube, which is the live streaming, like they're like Twitch donations basically, right?
Correct.
7 to 9 of them are usually in the top 10. And for a long time, it was like this Kiryu Coco and Houshou Marin and Uruha Rushia, and there's a lot of them who are just like they're all, or if not all, at least most of them are from the company Hololive, which is under Cover Corporation. Mm-hmm. And they're just basically like like finding talents and then getting them to start streaming using these virtual avatars. And the trend was so big in 2020 and a little bit into 2021, like the big boom of it. Again, everyone's stuck inside, right? Everyone's watching YouTube, Twitch, because everyone's like, kind of missing this like interaction. So a lot of people started like looking to streamers for interaction and entertainment. That a bunch of like popular, like, regular streamers started experimenting with VTuber or PNG models or avatars. Pokimane, Lilypichu has the one that she still uses to this day. Ludwig did one on a bet with Iron Mouse. RPR, which is a pro Apex player, Apex Legends. Code Miko has her own one where she develops. Basically, she's trying to develop like a video game, and she literally streams using her avatar of a character in a video game. And she does like a full 3D bodysuit and like a camera thing. It's really cool to see. And
I've seen her.
Yeah, Code Miko. Yeah. She's technically a VTuber.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. She was the one. The thing I've seen with her is where she makes fun of who's the streamer guy with the long black hair, like the Asian dude. It's like the penguin or something. I don't know.
Oh, the white guy. That's Moist Critical. Moist Critical.
Yeah, Moist Critical.
Yeah, baby, that's what we're waiting for.
It's like, oh, you're only 5'6" or something.
Like, yeah, but like a solid only 5'6". Yeah, but like a confident 5'6". Yeah, it's a funny clip. I love that one. Yeah, she does like.
All right, here I'll add it. I'll add it to the list.
There you go. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. This rabbit hole is not as like narrow as you think. There is a lot of this that has like expanded to like regular, like culture, like especially on like YouTube stuff. It is not as narrow as you think.
But you're only 5'6". Only? Did you say only? And she has that awkward look on her face.
She's a good interviewer. I really like her energy. Her interviews are really funny. And what with the chaos of the chat messing with her avatar basically at the same time, it's great. It's hilarious. And also in regards to like VTubers, they even though a lot of them are like independent by themselves or with a company, there has been also use of like VTubers as a method of advertising. You may have heard a couple of these may seem very, very out of the way. But plenty of Japanese VTubers work with brands to advertise products. Like Hololive works with Nissin Foods, like the noodle company. Sega, I don't know if you remember, but there was a Sonic the Hedgehog VTuber with the original VA.
Never knew that.
Yeah, if you look up on YouTube, you look up Sonic the Hedgehog VTuber, the original voice actor from the Japanese anime, I believe, or the video games. I forgot which one specifically. But they were the ones who voiced Sonic on the VTuber aspect. Netflix, they have Enko. They have their own character who basically recommends anime to watchers, and obviously interacts with the chat and all that other stuff.
Right. Okay.
Crunchyroll has Crunchyroll-Hime. You've probably seen her. She's like the mascot of the company, and they just created like an avatar for her. They rigged the avatar up, and then had her talking to people. And she is very multilingual. She speaks like and during her like debut stream, it was insane. There was so many people watching it. I like tuned in for a little bit, and then I forgot if she was during the night or during the day, but I remember I was very tired, and I was like, oh, cool, that's very cool that she debuted, and I'm gonna watch a little bit, and I'm gonna go back to sleep. But I just remember seeing the clip. She spoke like Japanese, Spanish, English, obviously, Chinese, Filipino. Like she spoke a lot of languages, and it was actually really, really cool. But yeah, again, like the especially these bigger companies, they will do like look for talents who are multilingual, especially to bring more and more people into the sphere, because again, they're using them for advertising, but also as a personality, they also can be very, very interesting. And Gawr, she is the little blue shark girl. Yeah.
I see her.
She's all over shitposted memes. She was in the background cameo, or she had a background cameo appearance in an anime-themed Taco Bell commercial. I don't know if you remember this commercial back in 2020. Do you remember this one?
I don't know. You'll have to show me. Okay. And we'll have to add it to the list
So it was a Taco Bell commercial, I believe, talking about the Taco Bell fries.
Yeah, all right.
And they brought it back, and which premiered to coincide with the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. Yep. That's why it was a thing.
Put it in the chat.
I'll put it in the chat for you. Okay, cool. So I'll just link these videos.
Select all these.
You'll see her in the background. So it's like during like a scene of like giant mechas fighting, basically. And then it's like a Times Square type of deal where like she's on like the panel in the background. It's just her vibing, just her shaking her head back and forth. But yeah, she was a background cameo appearance in Taco Bell commercial, which was funny. It was great. That blew up too. And
so I'm here on Twitch. Well, as an aside, I'm here on Twitch.
Oh yeah.
One of the Dragon Ball guys that I watch on YouTube, I found his Twitch, and he's currently playing the biggest, beefiest boy team of Cooler, Broly from the Dragon Ball Super movie, and then Z Broly on the same team.
The big boy team.
It's just a big, beefy boy team, and I'm sitting here just like mouth agape. But I digress. Whenever you have a chance to send that,
I will absolutely send that video. I will do that. And what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the Taco Bell commercial, and then just again, the people were they were just fiending for content. And there were also a couple times where some North American or the Western bros, or the Kaigai Nikki, which is a Japanese term for overseas bros, for some of the streamers' birthdays, like their character birthdays, they paid for like a multi-$1,000 ad in Times Square. To like, happy birthday Ina, happy birthday Kronii, you know what I mean? Like for some of these people. One of the other VTubers that I watched from Indonesia, a guy basically did something with like a giant like, digital, I think it was like a digital billboard panel type of deal, and they did like happy birthday Ollie in like one of their very populated cities for her birthday. So there's a big fan base here, and either it's one dude with a lot of money who is very into anime, or it's the coming together of all the bros donating to make this ad happen for just like just for a moment of just trying to make their Oshi happy. The VTuber community is very cool. It's very similar. It's the same thing, honestly, as like if you're like a fan of like streaming. There are people who are mega fans who can't cross the line, unfortunately, and there are a lot of people who are just like casual fans and just enjoy their personality or just watch what they do and just maybe they enjoy their gameplay. There's another VTuber that I watch who is just very good at Apex, and I love watching her, and she's also super toxic, so it's really funny. Just watching her talk shit to not like to her teammates, but like because she usually turns off her in-game chat, but she's just like, ooh, this guy is not that great. But it's funny that you watch her carry like 1v3 people, like because she's actually cracked. She's insane at video games, and it's very fun to watch. And because of that, you mentioned the Warhammer thing. I mentioned Apex Legends. There's some VTubers who like specialize in cooking. There's one an English VTuber named OniGiri, who uses a demon girl, like a Japanese Oni character, like with the horns and everything. She dresses up like a maid, and she uses her hands. She like literally has a hand cam. She wears gloves and cooks on stream, and she's very wholesome. And it's just like, oh, cool, okay, why not? It's and there's like a VTuber tag in Twitch, by the way. So if you want to do that as well, to create another Twitch channel, so you don't, and you just look at the VTuber tag, and there's just a bunch of them there.
That's a good idea.
Like that's another easy way to just kind of start checking stuff out. So check some of them out. Some of them just have cool, some of them may just have cool characters that you enjoy. Again, there's male VTubers as well. It's just like a lot of the time people think of the female VTuber because there is this connection of like the anime waifu, right? That's the connection here. For a lot of people. Again, as I mentioned before, the communities are relatively wholesome for the most part. There are some people who unfortunately do step over the line and become weird. Same as a regular streamer, right? How many times have you
same as in everything?
Any fan, right? You like
even in pro wrestling.
Wasn't there the guy who jumped over the fence and started actually fighting somebody who after they won a match?
That's happened multiple times, and also the predominantly male fan base is really weird with the female talent.
Yeah, unfortunately, right? So it's one of those things where again there is like for the most part the fans are good, right? It's just they're just fans. You're just a fan, right? And then there's gonna be people who are unfortunately very weird and kind of unfortunately overstep the boundaries and lose the line between real life and the personality, the actual person behind like the character. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate, but again, there's just so much in this community that I really really enjoy. I do watch clips on a regular basis. I tune into some of their streams because some of them are artists and I really just enjoy watching them draw, and they just have like chill lo-fi music in the background, just kind of like watching them draw stuff. Basically, it's cool. It's a really cool thing that I really really enjoy. And again, look for whatever subject you like. If there are some who play fighting games, there are some who are just like all about playing the character, you know what I mean? And then some who are just like they clearly break character all the time, and they're just like, oh wait, shit, add that to the lore. You know what I mean? Like you'll see the chat explode. Like guys, we got lore. We got real lore here. Like we have to remember that for the memes later on down the line. So again, just look around, find one that seems interesting, see how the algorithm treats you, or look for specific clips from a specific streamer if you happen to find one that you do happen to enjoy. And watch some translated clips, some out of context clips, like example like the Sakura Miko clip that you mentioned, that you sent to me earlier that we watched here. Or like comedic stream highlights or moments. Again, they're content creators, so if you watch YouTube, if you watch Twitch and you don't always get to tune into their streams, there are a lot of times people have like short, anywhere from like 30 seconds to like full 10-20 minute clip videos from like a 2-3 hour stream. So look for whatever you're interested in. That's the end of my notes here. You got any questions for me before we take our little break here and you start on your voyage into the rabbit hole?
No. I think I'm just gonna start and then ask later, I guess. But I think, all right, let's give it a shot. Why not? Right?
Okay, cool. Again, so yeah, I'm glad you're trying to take this a little bit. It seems like you don't hate me. It seems like you don't hate me for throwing this topic out here.
No, we've already at least in the first half, I don't hate you.
Okay. Okay, fair.
And we've already approached, the second half of the episode where I'm like, seriously, this sucks. But I don't think that's going to be the case here. To be honest with you, I think this is going to be because, like you said, there's so many different options, and at the very least, I can watch somebody who is familiar, right? I can watch Mace. I forget what his VTuber name is.
I forgot as well. I looked it up. I wrote these notes actually like 4 months ago. I wanted to throw this at you so much earlier, but I was like, I feel like this is a little bit weird of a topic for a podcast that has like 2 episodes on gaming and then going straight into VTubers. I was like, let me get a couple more episodes in, and then I'll save this one for a rainy day. And like now that we're kind of I think we're at a decent pace where we've gotten comfortable talking about stuff. I think this is a good time to try to bring up like a bit of a weird topic in the first non-gaming subject here.
Right. Okay. So it's JiBo.
JiBo. Yeah. JiBo. Yeah. That's what it was.
So at the very least, like, that's somebody that's at least familiar.
Yeah.
So I can at least start there and then move on.
Yeah, and I'm sure he has like dedicated clippers from his streams who put the highlights on YouTube. He might also have
the whole thing is here. The whole like stream clips are the VODs are all here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so you have the whole VODs if you want to do that. And again, consume them in different ways, because again, I do a lot of clips, like 30 seconds to a minute, especially because the clippers will find like a humorous moment or an interesting moment or sometimes a serious moment, in a stream. And because people like me who don't speak fluent Japanese or Spanish or Chinese or whatever can't understand what's happening, they'll clip it for you and just give you the important context for like a minute. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And cut out a lot of the dead time or between conversations and just explain what's happening. So there is a lot of like clippers, especially if you want to do some Japanese or non-English content. It's all out there. So yeah, go ahead and dip your toe in. We'll see how you feel after your little excursion here into the VTuber rabbit hole.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, so listeners, there will be a short break here, and I believe for us it'll be at least a week for this one. I want Jeff to really, really get himself into this one. So we'll short break here, and we'll be back with the second half of this episode after Jeff has checked out VTubers. Okay, listeners, we are back. It has been a week, and Jeff has gotten VTubers under his belt. Let's go ahead and get into it right away, Jeff. What's going on?
So it's been a week, and I've watched enough VTubers for me at least.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
yeah, let's
no.
Oh,
okay, it's not that bad.
Okay, no. You didn't hate it as much as you thought you were going to.
No. So I don't hate them. Okay, I don't hate it.
Okay.
This is going to fringe into a very special episode territory. I will tell you that. Because I get them. Like, I understand VTubers. I know why they're popular. I know why people like them. They're not really for me, but I get it. And I think they're important.
Okay.
And I'm excited that these people are finally going to have a chance to exist in this streaming world, right?
Yeah.
And exist in this content creation world as something that feels more authentic to their true selves than maybe their own physical appearance.
So let's go ahead and get into your opinions, I guess, then. So, or I guess even how we got started down this rabbit hole for you. So I gave you the topic, and then what was the first thing I guess you looked up? Because I threw a couple recommendations out at you into our chat. And did you go by those right away, or did you just say, I'm just going to go ahead and make a new account, put in VTubers, and to see what happens?
No, yeah. So I looked for the people that you recommended.
Okay.
And it didn't pop up.
No. Not
like nobody, I guess because their streaming times and the times where I'm online don't really match up.
Okay.
I guess because they're maybe overseas or what have you.
Yeah. I mean,
or whatever.
Or like what? Not even like clips of them though. I'm assuming clips showed up, but maybe not the streams themselves if they weren't.
It might not. It might have been that. Okay. It might have been the case where I didn't see them live, and I wanted to see them live because I wanted to be able to see them in the wild, right? I wanted to be able to notice what how they interacted with people while they were actually live streaming. I did watch the clips, and I was able to see, and it's like yeah, like I get it, but the difference for me was like the clips just kind of seemed like normal clips, just like you would normally watch a normal content creator's clips.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's all the same kind of style, especially nowadays with everyone has this like kind of jump cutty kind of aesthetic to their videos, right?
Right.
And again, a lot of the clippers that are out there right now for VTubers are fans. They're not hired by the company. There are a couple who are hired by whatever, if they're from a company, or hired specifically for that VTuber if they're an independent VTuber. But a lot of them are just like, you know, editors who may edit for other people as well. But there's like, hey, I really like this VTuber. I'm going to edit clips for them, like funny highlight moments or whatever. And it just comes down to, I guess, what in terms of what kind of content you're looking for in the first place.
Right,
so you said for you, clips was like mostly, I guess, what you kind of saw, since you couldn't really find a lot of the streams anyway, at least in terms of like timing, essentially, right?
Oh no, I found plenty of streams.
Okay.
I didn't find the people that you recommended.
Okay.
So I was watching people. The main thing that I used this opportunity for was to watch these VTubers play games I wanted to learn more about. So
okay. Yeah,
I watched a couple of VTubers playing Tower of Fantasy, which is that new Genshin Impact-esque kind of, you know, anime girl beat 'em up game.
Yeah. I saw a lot of them putting up videos recently of that because it just came out. So.
And I also watched a couple of VTubers play the the Lamb game. I can't think of it
Cult
right
of
now.
the Lamb.
Yes, thank you.
Great game, by the way. If you get your hands on that, go ahead and play that one too.
Yeah. So I watched some people play that, and like my original notes, just off the cuff, were the following: like, do they ever stop talking? You know, I know why they talk often. It's because they don't have the ability to emote using their hands or other sorts of visual stimuli as if they were filming themselves, right?
Yeah, like a regular streamer, basically.
You're right. Your virtual avatar is limited in what it can do. So in order to stay engaged, you have to basically comment on everything. You can't sit there in silence for too long, because then it's just a picture of a 3D model over a video game, and it's not engaging to people, right?
Yeah, like for the most part, that is the case. Like again, like a majority of streamers use 2D avatars or 2.5D, I guess. You know, there are a couple who do 3D mapping for their avatars.
Right.
Obviously, a lot more like, you know, performance intensive. That's also another thing too.
Correct.
And also more expensive to make those avatars and rig them that way as well. It's much more expensive to do that because of the amount of work that has to go into making sure that the avatar turns and all this other stuff. You know, you have to model it in 3D. Yeah, there's a lot more work to go into those. So most of the time, people do 2.5Ds. Nuts. And and yeah, it is a lot of like talking, like and it's also, and then I guess in my opinion, it becomes more of like a purer-ish form of entertainment. Right? It's like genuinely, it's like, no, these are my thoughts. This is exactly how I feel like when I'm playing this game. Or like, you know, them interacting with the chat very, very often. Yeah, they do lack that physicality to emote, right? To use their body and use their physical mannerisms to convey thoughts and even just even just eat up time, right? Yeah, exactly that. They have to talk a lot more with their chat and like actively try to keep them engaged.
Right. It makes a ton of sense. And for me, coming from like that traditional media background, it was a little tough to sort of, I don't want to say tolerate, but that's kind of the best word that I can use to describe it, is that it was tough. And honestly, it bordered on obnoxious for some of the VTubers, even though I know they weren't being obnoxious and they were kind of just, you know, doing what they're supposed to do. I don't know, something like the old man, crotchety old man in me kind of was like, oh my God, shut up. You're so obnoxious.
Give it a moment to breathe. Let the moment play out kind of deal, right?
Right. You have to, right, exactly. When you say something or when you do something or if something funny happens. So like the one girl I was watching playing Tower of Fantasy, right?
Do you have a name?
Cherimu. Cherimu.
Cherimu, okay. I think I've heard the name.
He got like obliterated by the boss after respawning and running all the way back down to the boss fight. And normally, like I would just sit there in silence, and I would just
there's like a moment of you seething, basically.
Right, exactly. But she didn't shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
which could also be the difference between she might be younger, right?
Yeah.
She could be in like her early, mid, or late 20s. And I turned 32 last week, so it's like a different. It's also my comedy style is a little different,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like so I get it. You know what I mean? And honestly, she had like a nice number of viewers, so like obviously she's doing something right.
Yeah.
It's just for me, it's like that. For me, that would have been the perfect opportunity to just let the visual play out and just sit on that "you died" screen for like 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But you also can't do that because your VTuber can't watch your VTuber throw the headset down, get up, and walk away from the desk, right?
Yeah. Which is
your
fun.
If your VTuber, if you get up from the desk, your VTuber either just sits there or it goes to like a big black box or whatever, image not found, right? Mapping not
so
found.
basically what happens, it's funny you say that, because there are times when VTubers do get fed up at a game and they like walk away angrily, and you can hear them like kind of like walk away from their microphone, and their VTuber kind of, like the model kind of just sits like askew, like their head turned up, you know what I mean? Looks like their neck is broken, because that's what the last moment that the camera tracked them. And it's
okay. That's funny.
Like for me, it's like I think it's because I've watched them more. You know what I mean? So right. I see these moments, and you can tell when those VTubers do get genuinely annoyed or upset, they get quiet, and you can see the VTuber, like the model is just the avatar is just like staring at the camera. You see their eyes, moving back and forth, and like that's the moments that I see are like, no, that's them genuinely like stewing in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's a different style. And maybe if you found somebody else who's a different style of it. So you bounced off this first VTuber, right? Was there anyone else you looked up after that, or no?
There were a few others that I and like basically what I did was I went through the VTuber tag on Twitch.
Okay.
And anybody that was live, either playing a game that I knew or playing, like I said, playing something that I was interested in, those were the people that I kind of checked out.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that I went back to a few times because he was playing a lot of Fall Guys, and obviously I enjoy Fall Guys, was that the Shiba Inu VTuber guy. It was like Manny something.
Yeah. There's a couple Shiba Inus. I think there's a couple in Japanese, and then there's a couple English speaking ones as well.
Yeah, so I kept going back to his stream, and definitely you could tell he was a guy like VTubing, whatever, as a dog.
Streaming as a dog. That's all it is.
Yeah. So his VTuber avatar was a Shiba Inu, and like I would go back to him, and he wasn't too bad. He wasn't. I mean, obviously there was like a donation incentive or something where he would like make a fart noise, and he would like it would zoom in on him, and he would look around, and it kind of felt like old school Nickelodeon. It's like, okay,
with like a chat triggers basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Like it would be like a dog fart, and it would zoom in on him, and he'd look around and be like, "What happened?"
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like
it's a bit.
It's like
a bit. Yeah. I know. Plays into it. No, that's
like I said,
that's fine. Yeah, it's
like
fun.
I said, crotchety old man.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But like I get it, and you know what? People like it, and it's not hurting anybody. Like I don't care. You know what I mean? Like good for them.
Yeah.
The one thing I will ask, I need to know something.
Go for it.
Why are all the VTubers so sensitive about backseating?
I think it's because there's a couple ideas that I used to have in my head anyway. I think first off, in streaming in general, I don't like backseaters. That's like especially if you're the person streaming and you already know what you're doing, or you have a partial idea of what you're doing, and say you want to figure things out by yourself. That's perfectly fine, right? It's partially that. And then also I think partially there's a bit of it that is a little bit toxic at the same time. I don't like using that word in general, but it's the like it could be also because a lot of them are female as well too. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people do react like, oh well, so like first off, there's already the separation of like a female, like a woman who just plays video games, right, or a girl who plays video games, right? Then there are some shitty guys out there basically who just think, oh no, I already know better than them, so I'm just gonna tell them what to do. And then now we create another barrier in front of that as well. It's like, oh well, you're a female who's not even like brave enough to show her face. You're hiding behind an avatar. Now there's another degree of separation there on top of the fact that there's internet anonymity. I think.
Oh no, I get it. Yeah.
And I think that like a lot of that gets stomped out if the streamer's doing not even just a VTuber, but if the streamer is doing a good job of letting the chat know they don't accept certain things in their chat in the first place, right? You create boundaries for yourself and for your chat,
right?
And I think people who do react very relatively like aggressive to it are the ones who I think, even if they were streaming as a regular person, wouldn't do a very good job of creating those boundaries. Because the ones that I watch actually like are kind of cool with having their chat help them out if something happens or they miss something. You know what I mean? It might also just come down to personality, but I think that's I think where I see it as like why some of them are very defensive, especially when it comes to backseating or some of the comments in chat.
Right, and I'm glad you brought up the gender of the people, because this is what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about this being a very special episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, there are male VTubers, but a lot of the people that populate these are behind the VTubers are women, whether they're biological or they're trans women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think VTubers are incredibly important for those people, and especially right with someone transitioning, I think it can mean a lot to them to be able to present as a woman and maybe not have the negative attention from people that just want to stir the pot, right?
Yeah.
So people come in and be like, "Oh God, what the fuck is that?" That's fucked up. And I think VTubers give these people a chance to live their truth in a sincere and earnest way. And so like that's kind of goes back to what I said. Like I think they're important and I think they deserve to exist. I just don't know if they're for me, but I hope they don't go anywhere, and I hope this stuff kind of continues to take off, because I think it's important for these people to get more people into streaming and into video games and into these communities that maybe would be afraid to stream, to show their face. They don't have the confidence. They're nervous about the way that people would interpret them or look at them, and they have this safety net, right? This basically like the substitute in Pokemon. I'm sure there's a better term for this, but you know how you have the substitute in Pokemon and you replace it with the doll, right?
Yeah.
And it takes all of the attacks and things. It serves as like that buffer between the real person behind the avatar and the unfiltered, unmitigated people, weirdos on Twitch.
Yeah, like I remember the first time when I guess VTubers became, I guess, like not mainstream, but I guess the first time they dipped into the rest of streaming culture. I remember it was like Pokimane or Lilypichu, one of them, like one of those, like, one of those popular female Twitch streamers, right? And it might have been Pokey. It might have been both of them for all that matters. But like I remember them saying like there are certain days they just don't feel confident. They don't want to be in front of a camera. You know what I mean? But then people are like, oh, why isn't your camera on? Why aren't you showing your face when you're streaming? And it's like, maybe they just don't feel like it. If they were a guy, would you question it? You know what I mean? Like how many male streamers are there who people come just there for gameplay and hearing them talk?
Right.
But because they're female, and then like the guys who have like, I guess, not like feelings towards them, I guess, but it's like, oh, in the back of their mind, it's like, oh, I want to see them. You know what I mean? Like in a maybe a slightly creepier way, I guess, right? Horny. Yeah, horny. There we go. Horny way. Thank you for just saying it. I guess in the most simple way for me, just get the message across. But yeah, like, oh, but like, I want to see you. It was like a guy or a girl, like, there are certain days you just don't feel great about yourself. You know what I mean? But especially if you're a streamer and that's your job, you still have to show up. It's a way for them to still feel somewhat comfortable while still having like a face presented out to the forward facing public, right? Like it may not be their face, but it's a way for them to still have a way for them to have something to, like, especially for the viewer to look at and connect the voice to. Editing Lakan here. By the way, the term I was looking for was like a weird parasocial relationship and slightly possessive. That's what I was looking for here. Jeff helped me out, and then I ended up figuring it out afterwards.
Right. And the other thing too is your VTuber avatar can be whatever you want it to be. It can look however you want it to look.
Yeah.
Right. So if you want a new hairstyle, or if you want to change the way it looks, or if you want to give it a new outfit or whatever, like you control all of that. And it's easier to edit a 3D model or a 2.5D model than it is to, I don't know, get plastic surgery if you're not confident in the way you look, or if if you're going through that transition and let's say you still have your Adam's apple, or you still have something feminine, right? If you're going female to male, right? You still have your breasts, right? You have to tape them down. If you're if you're a VTuber, you don't have to worry about that. And it's kind of why I think it's important, man. And I'm happy that these people can do it. Like I throughout my travels, I couldn't tell you who they were, but I definitely stumbled on a few people that were pretty obviously like trans women doing this. And I'm like, good for you, man. Like, honestly, good for you.
Yeah, there's a couple who are very popular on Twitch and like, YouTube clips. I see them occasionally, and they're fun. And that's the thing too. And a big thing, the way I see this as well, is like there's also like a large entertainment factor, right? Like there are people who are just really good at talking, so it's like it's kind of cool to just see them like, regardless if they were in person or not, like, oh, I could just listen to this person talk, like riffing, the chat can be taking shots at them, like, in a playful manner, and they fire back real quick, like, real witty, real smart, and it's funny, there's stuff, there's just stuff that I really enjoy, especially if a person does a really good job of just holding conversation. Essentially it's a one-sided conversation. No, not one-sided, but it's like it's a conversation from one person versus 5,000 or plus, you know what I mean? Like holding the same conversation for everybody to see out in public. And there's I think that there is that thing that I really enjoy is, again, they are very, very good conversationalists. Again, it's weird to say, though, it's supposed to be like a two-way thing, but yeah, they do a very, very good job of holding attention just by their thoughts and how they explain their thoughts, basically. Did you go into mostly like video game stuff? Did you go into like clips of them just kind of because a lot of them do like just chatting streams, or they do like art streams or whatever? Did you check any things aside from just like video game streams?
I tried to do like the just chatting or whatever else, but I felt like I needed the visual stimuli because, again, I was doing this while I was working, right? So that's when I have the time to sit and consume stuff, is while I have something going on in front of me. And so I found that when it came to the just chatting, I wasn't engaged. I'm not really engaged by art streams that aren't Bob Ross or Chris O'Neill, Oni Plays or whatever.
Yeah.
I've just kind of found that the gaming and specifically the games that I was interested in seeing was like the biggest draw for me.
Okay.
That's kind of the way that I looked at it. And it was weird because I tried to, I think somebody was playing, I want to say they were playing like Melty Blood or something, but I don't know what it is. I couldn't disassociate because I guess I'm so used to fighting game streams being a certain way that when the VTuber is playing the fighting games, it's just like I couldn't. I don't know. It's definitely a me problem, but I couldn't get it to. I couldn't make it work.
It's funny because like for me, I like throw on like even if it's like a VOD of one, right? Again, I'm mostly on like YouTube and I watch most of this stuff because I watch clips. But and again, most of the ones that I follow are on stream on YouTube as well. So like I'll watch like a VOD from like a day before that I miss. You know what I mean? Especially because I sleep during the day, I work at night.
Right.
And it's like, oh, cool, I heard this one had some pretty good moments in it. Or I'll watch a clip, find a funny moment. I'm like, oh, this sounds like this is a good stream. So I'll put the whole VOD up. It's a 2-hour video. I'm like, cool. And then I'll have it playing in the background, kind of like how I would just watch a regular stream. Usually it's kind of in the background, or, and occasionally tune in if something, interesting happens and focus a little bit more up and kind of watch the interactions with them in the chat, especially because on YouTube and on Twitch, they show the live chat replay, right? You can see everyone talking as well, as if you were watching it live.
Correct.
And like for me, it is like more like kind of like a passive enjoyment of me just like listening, especially art streams, especially just talking streams. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I just like to hear people talk and give opinions and thoughts and stuff like that. I actually like really enjoy those just talking and like art streams because those are, I take a look over. Oh, okay, they've just finished the rough outline of the character. Go back to whatever I'm doing. I could be playing Apex, or I could be editing something, or I'm, doing emails or whatever, right? And then, cool, I just finished my thing. Look over to my other monitor. Oh, they've just finished, like, the broad details of the character now. Cool. Okay, go back to my thing again. So I guess it depends on how, I guess, yeah, like how you watch streams or the kind of content you're really into, I guess, as well matters technically for what you get into. I think I mentioned this in the first half, but did you check out OniGiri, the cooking VTuber?
I did not.
Okay.
No, I didn't have a a chance. And honestly, same thing with like the art and same thing with like the just chatting. I kind of needed that visual stimuli.
Mm-hmm.
That's more appealing to me as somebody that just likes video games. I don't know. Maybe it's something to go back and look at just because it's such a niche that maybe it would be interesting, but I didn't have the opportunity to look.
Yeah, no, I get you. I mean, again, like that's why I'm asking, like, to see what kind of context or what kind of content you ended up looking around in terms regarding to VTubers. Oh, and one short note, real quick, regarding to our previous discussion about the anonymity and the buffer that that the streamer may have.
Right.
There's also a reason why it's weird. There's this weird gatekeeping kind of feeling or like internal fighting between the VTuber community where some of them will show their real face and have like an actual, you know, they'll actually just straight up be like, oh, here's who I am, by the way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we mentioned
one of the VTubers I watched did that.
We mentioned Code Miko before. I mean, who do you watch who has like an outward facing profile?
I'm trying to find her.
Okay.
I don't remember who it was.
Whenever you find her, just go ahead and blurt it out. But like Code Miko, right? She streams using her avatar and then also like live streams just being her, right? She does that. And there are some other VTubers who like they stream only using their VTuber model, but they'll put up a post like saying, you know, hey, I felt good today. I felt confident today. I'm going to post a picture of myself. And then there are other VTubers who are against that idea of like, no, you're like, you know, you're diminishing the point of the VTuber thing. It's like, no, it depends on how you want to, I think, use the medium, right? That's how I see it. Where, especially if like you don't feel like you need to live in your character all the time. But then
Correct.
The other side of that I was going to mention, or the other part of that I was going to mention, was when there are VTubers who are working to maintain anonymity. When somebody finds their previous identity, there are people who get very toxic. You know, especially like, oh, I found this person, like they weren't the ideal waifu that I had in my mind. You know what I mean? Or you know, like, oh, here's this person. They're essentially doxing, right? Like it's like a life form of doxing,
right?
Which is a very sad part of like the fandom or you know, the antis, I guess, right? People who are against the idea of this in the first place. People are like, show your face, coward. And then other people who joke in their streams can be like, oh, face reveal when, you know. And again, some play along to the joke. I'm like, oh yeah, here's my real face. And then they put like a weird goofy mask on their character, which makes it really, you know, it's a funny interaction. But then again, and then there's the other part I mentioned as well. I think in the first half I might have mentioned this, or we might have mentioned this off recording, I mean, where there is like a kind of like an agreement, right, between the viewer and the personality, right? You don't talk about their previous life or, you know, like basically who they were before the VTuber, or if they're a VTuber who had gone from being an independent to a being part of a company or an organization, right? They like right. It is like an agreement. You don't bring that up. You know, technically even me doing this right now is like, this is essentially just me giving out like the unspoken rules of this whole thing, I guess, right? You know, and then people who are like, oh, hey, I found out this was this person before they started streaming, you know what I mean? And put it in the chat. And like, you know, like, bro, like you're already like, it's like the whole Fight Club thing, right? You don't talk about it. Like that's the kind of the whole point. But so that's the one other thing I wanted to bring up before I completely forgot about it, but about the, you know, the anonymity and the extra degree of separation you can have as a person who streams on the internet for fun or for a living. Let's see here. Okay. Oh yeah. So content wise, you said you watch a couple clips. You tried to actually tune in for streams, which is cool. Did you look up mostly independent VTubers, or did you look up any ones from like an organization or company?
Oh God, I have no idea.
No. Okay.
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, I mentioned a couple. I listed a bunch of their names in our thing, and if you look them up or like on clips or whatever, I mostly watch Hololive. That's just like that's one of the reasons I even, you know, fell down this rabbit hole, was a couple of the English-speaking Japanese members of Hololive, and seeing clips of them speaking in Japanese and then speaking like perfect English. I'm like, whoa, wait a second, what happened? You know what I mean? Right. And that's why I started, and then I realized, oh no, they're also the ones who are doing a good job of promoting this to Western culture, right? Because it does feel very Japanese, right? Like when you especially looking at it from the outside, you're like, this is very, very much so a Japanese thing. And did you watch any like multilingual ones, or did you just watch like mostly English speaking ones?
I tried to bounce around. I tried to watch Japanese, Korean, English. I found that it was a little tough to really understand, or not obviously understand, but like to stay engaged with the Japanese VTubers, to stay engaged with the Korean VTubers, because I didn't speak the language, so I had no context other than what was happening on the screen.
Did you see what I meant in the chat though? Occasionally, where somebody will be translating for the English viewers.
No, so I didn't have that at all. It was all Japanese or all Korean or whatever language they were speaking.
Okay. Yeah, because that's me as well, and for the Japanese VTubers as well. Like for the most part, I tune in when I can and like watch a little bit of it, and then kind of bounce around and watch clips or whatever of them being translated. But sometimes they're playing a game that I'm really interested in, or I just watch. Oh, this is one of them that I just watched because her avatar is very cute and her voice is very soothing, and she just has comfy streams. That, you know, it's basically that, right?
Right.
And then like there's a person in their chat who like usually tunes in every stream and like just translates for the English speaking bros, which is again I always appreciate. I'm like, especially and it's funny because like as of late, she's been working more and more to try to connect with the overseas viewers, which I find very cute and very endearing. I just want them to be happy. It's like, that's all it is for me.
Don't we all?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that. So okay, so mostly English stuff for you then, and you tried at least checking out the international streams. That's cool.
Like I gave it a shot.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. Yeah, I speak very, not even speak, understand or like very basic Japanese, and we're talking like I only know that through context clues of like all the anime that I watch, you know, tuning into these streams. And it's funny because there are people who like learn Japanese through these streams because they are very conversational.
Right.
Like, you know, watching an anime and hearing dialogue between anime characters is very like, no, this is not how most people speak. In terms of streaming, yeah, like the VTubers are actually, it's funny, like there's been like a pretty big uptick in terms of people who like learn Japanese or Korean recently because of the VTubing community, which is kind of which is I find kind of like entertaining and kind of like, you know, like, oh cool, this is kind of like a nice little factoid. And you see people like on streams and comment sections saying how they're like, oh yeah, I can like actually understand like some of the things they're talking about now, which is kind of cool.
Well, didn't one of the guys from BTS learn how to speak English from Friends? It's like the same thing.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like them doing the opposite way back, right? Like them, like a lot of them learning English from the same way.
Right.
Yeah. It's absolutely like kind of the same thing.
Yeah, you know, I learned anyway. So there's a YouTube channel called FGC Translated, and I want to say it's one of like the key figures in the fighting game community. And basically, what this person does is they translate Daigo's streams and like Mago and like all the top Japanese streamers, so that you can understand what they're talking about. And it's awesome. So like you understand what goes on in Daigo's head or Mago's head while they're playing. You get to know them a little better because I mean, but that's also the thing about showing your face versus this virtual avatar. You can see Daigo's face, you can see him emote in person, and like it's funny to watch him like figure something out, and he's like, oh, and you know he has like that face on. And
like the light bulb moment for him when he figures something out. I get you.
And then you can also hear, because of the translated videos, you can also see his thought process when it comes to selecting characters, or you know, you can, you know, learn about, so like oftentimes they'll talk about key matches from their past, and you can see them sort of talk about basically like post game and give comments on what went wrong and what went right and all that. And it's interesting to know that. So to have, basically what I'm trying to say is to have that context is very helpful. And I'm happy to see that people do it. You know, I didn't have a chance to see it when I was having the VTuber experience, but I'm happy that it's something, again, it's just another way to keep things inclusive for people that need it. And that's cool.
Yeah, I get you. I already knew that it's not going to be for everybody, right? A lot of people still see it on, you know, on YouTube or like Instagram, and like a clip or a highlight from a stream or whatever. You know what I mean? Someone finds it funny, and then for some reason hits the algorithm just right to branch out from just that core community of like anime fans and VTuber fans, right?
Right.
And then people are like, I don't even know why I'm here. Like, what's happening right now? Kind of deal. Like those comments, right?
Right.
And so I understand that this is not going to be for everybody. Not everyone's going to understand what's happening or why people even like this. And that's kind of like fine, right? Because this is like a bit of it's still a niche, right? Even though it blew up like massively in the last couple of years, like it's still a niche thing. I understand this can be very strange for a lot of people.
Correct.
But I think it's because of the fact that I have been down in this rabbit hole for long enough now. You know what I mean? It's funny because I remember when I first started like looking into this, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm like tiptoeing around the rabbit hole, right? I'm taking a peek. I'm gonna take a casual look down the rabbit hole. And then I found out a friend of mine, one of his best friends, is very, very in the rabbit hole. Like buys all the merch. Yeah, like all the figurines, all the dakimakuras, all the mouse pads.
God!
Like they sell like anime voice, like the voice packs, you know what I mean, of them like doing voice acting stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's really down the rabbit hole. I'm like, that's cool. Like, like that's not me, but sure, I'm down. I'm like, yeah, go enjoy yourself. And then he would mention, oh, by the way, if you're like kind of getting into this, check out this streamer. They have very funny clips and they're also very good at shooter games. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? So it's kind of one of those things, again, that you can get dragged down by yourself, or if you have somebody like kind of what we're doing now, like see like if you're interested in this, I can try to start your journey for you. You know what I mean? Like help you out at the beginning of your exploration down the rabbit hole. And yeah, I've spent enough time down here to realize like these, like I don't like. Yes, I understand. Like I do appreciate the physicality that comes through when you're watching a regular streamer, right? I still watch regular streamers. I still, I'm not only VTubers now, but it's just like, I think like it's kind of just something in my head now where it's like, okay, I know I'm not going to see this anymore, but it's like you still see them like, just their 2D avatar vibing left and right, or like moving, especially when they talk. You know what I mean? Some do track moving forward and backwards on camera a little bit,
right? So it's
like you can still see like, oh, when they're anxious or whatever, they rock back and forth in their chair. It's like, okay, you still see these things. You kind of pick up these little body ticks, essentially, and again, you're lacking the full sense of physicality to it, but I still see stuff now. But again, I've also been really into this for the last like 2 years now. And and I was mentioning before, like I even remember when the first time I sent out like a clip to our chat, and I remember I was like, I'm gonna get rinsed for this, but like for some reason I just feel compelled to share this girl doing something funny. You know what I mean? I got a couple jabs from you guys, but it's mostly it's all in jest, obviously.
Right.
It's just like they're like, okay, this is what you're into now, Lakan? Okay, we see you. I was like, I can just feel the judgment, just like, oh no, oh no, they think I'm weird. That's how I felt anyway.
No, so yeah, like I'm not going to be as opposed now that I kind of know what it's all about. Like if somebody's playing a new game and like one of the top streamers is a VTuber, I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't know. I'll be like, all right, let me see, right? And we'll go from there. But I'm not going to be like, oh no, I'm not watching this. VTubers are weird, because now I know kind of what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I'm really going to go out of my way to watch this all the time.
Yeah.
But it's great to have an understanding. And again, like it's nice to bring attention to this, because I feel like this is important for so many people who aren't big brash white guys with a lot of self-confidence and who are comfortable in their skin, right? There are people out there that aren't like that, and VTubers present them with an opportunity to stream and put themselves out there on their terms. And so
absolutely.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, so I sent you a couple clips, and did you get to any of them? Like I sent you specifically in I guess our personal conversation one.
Yeah, no, I watched them. I thought they were fine. Like I said, like I thought they were easily digestible, because it's basically just like watching a normal clip.
Yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to get across. Like for a lot of people here who like, in our friend group, or even you the listener. It's just like, it's content creators, you know what I mean? It's just streamers. It's just people just having fun and just doing their thing,
Right.
Like the one that the first one that I sent you, and I remember just I remember like getting a kind of like a immediate reaction from you was I think it was Mysta and Nina talking about and Mysta explaining the jar to Nina.
Yes.
And I remember just seeing from you like, oh god, okay, I'll watch this afterwards. And I was like, yes, I got him a clip that he might actually enjoy. Like, you know, and I was like, yes, I got one.
Because it's an ultimate. Yeah, it's like an ultimate shitlord clip. I have to watch it.
It's great. It's funny. It's just like in hearing her like, why would they do this? Like kind of freaking out about it. Yep. Oh, it's a funny moment. Again, these are just kind of like it's just like these are conversational moments of people who are just like on the internet, just like, you know, some people who are more, you know, into the deeper reaches of the internet and like knowing the shit post stories and stuff like that, and then other people are like, what are you talking about? And you're going, oh god, why is this a thing, you know, stuff like that. It's a mix of like that stuff where it's just the casual conversational stuff that I really enjoy, and you know, clips of, you know, the streamers' personalities like coming through past their avatar, right? There's a couple streamers who like, or VTubers who like stream like a very cool personality, right? They've got like a very like calm voice, you know what I mean, like very well composed, and then it's like the clips of them breaking down or like getting aggravated at a game or whatever, and the, you know, the chat like laughing at them and like, you know, prodding them, and you know, obviously in all in good fun, but it's just like, shut up chat, I'm gonna finish this damn game today, like I said it, I'm gonna do it. I like those little moments of them breaking character, you know,
because we've all been there.
Yeah, you know, try to keep yourself, you know, this outward appearance, and then now they have an outward appearance on top of their outward appearance, and they still break character anyway, you know, which I really find funny, and again, gives you like a glimpse into what kind of person they actually are behind the avatar, you know. That's what I like. And again, there are also some streamers that I watch who are absolutely cracked at whatever video game they play.
Right.
So you said for fighting game ones, anyone you would want to shout out that you found that you were watching? Because that's one that I don't really find a lot of VTubers that I follow. Not all of them play fighting games. I know some of them have like a liking for fighting games, but don't really play them a lot. Because I
gotta tell you, I only managed. Sorry to cut you off. I only managed to find the one. I think it was a Japanese streamer, and like I said, I couldn't get into it because I'm just so used to having that human there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
And I don't know. I couldn't do it, but that was like the only one I tried it, because I was like, well, you know, I've already tried these games that I'm interested in. I tried Fall Guys. I tried a few other things. Maybe I'll try to find like a fighting game one. So like I found somebody playing Melty Blood, and it was just weird. I'm so used to having that physical person there that to have the avatar was a little weird for me. But again, like I said, if it gets people to play fighting games with this virtual avatar instead of putting their face on there or not having a face at all, like, it's worth it.
Yeah, there was a stream a couple months ago. I think it was Calliope Mori and Ninomae Inanis from both from Hololive EN, the English speaking branch of Hololive. I believe Calliope Mori, or Callie as she's like her nickname. She's a big fan of Guilty Gear, and Ina, or Ninomae Inanis, her nickname is Ina. I think she's played fighting games. Like she's a fan of them, but I guess she doesn't deep dive as much. And I think she hadn't played Guilty Gear. So when she played with Callie, it's funny because you can see like, okay, like Callie's taking it easy, and Ina's like kind of like, you know, knocking the cobwebs off. You know what I mean? She's like, I know what I'm doing. I just don't know how this game plays specifically.
Correct.
So it's kind of cool seeing those moments. Especially again, like that's the first clip that I found anyway of like a VTuber playing like a fighting game, like a traditional, or like a like not just like not like a stick game or duck game type of deal. It is very it's one of those things where it's like, again, like fighting game already in itself is already its own niche community.
Correct.
And not everyone's gonna fall into that too, because fighting games are very much so like a get good, right? It's basically that. Like, you lost, tough, figure it out. Yeah, it's already a tough game to begin with. A tough type of game to begin with.
As someone who is trying actively to get back into a fighting game after basically 2 years of not playing it against people, yeah, it's tough. And you're going to have to get good if you want to like compete and not get washed. So, yeah, I mean, there's a high barrier of entry in fighting games that I think other games don't have. And so that's why it's kind of tough for people who, especially if you don't want to lock yourself into a single game, like fighting games are tough to do that with because they require so much
time and dedication
and practice. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, like that's why I think, like, especially when watching VTuber content, you see a lot of them playing like open world survival games. You know what I mean? Like you see a lot of them playing like Project Zomboid, which is still pretty difficult in itself, actually, from what I've seen. I have friends who play and they tell me it's pretty hard. It's a pretty hardcore survival game. A lot of them playing like 7 Days to Die, Minecraft, stuff that, like, there's like, you can kind of like tell where there's like waves of like difficulty coming in, right? Versus kind of playing something a little more passively, which allows them to also interact with chat more or interact with another streamer more.
It's super difficult to try to interact with people while you're playing a fighting game. Like, it's tough.
Even like shooters, you can kind of get away with, right? Like, one of this streamers that I watch, or the VTubers that I watch from, Niji Sanji, she's from the EN branch as well. And one of them from the Indonesian branch as well, Hana Makia. They're both big fans of Apex Legends, sorry, and which is a pretty intense first person shooter, right? There's a lot of movement mechanics in that game, and it's funny like watching them. Like Selene is like absolutely cracked in the game. Like I really enjoy how she's actually very good and very enjoyable to watch for me in terms of just like skilled gameplay. And then it's funny because like in the middle of her gameplay, especially in like a battle royale type of game, there's like a lull, right? There's like, okay, we just won a fight. We fought another team after that. Okay, now we have to move, around the map. So there's like a moment there she can like look at the chat to see them popping off or whatever, and then interact with them, and then go back into the gameplay. So like, there's definitely like a type of game that I think a lot of VTubers like kind of gravitate towards because it allows for more chat interaction, which leads back into your first point, or I guess maybe your second point, whatever it was, but that they won't shut up, right? Because they have to talk. They have to keep talking to keep the chat engaged.
Right.
Which again, I think that they're like more skillful at to some extent than other regular streamers, because they have to. Like there's literally no other way for them to keep the chat engaged and interactive if they're not talking, because if not, they're just a picture of an anime person on screen on top of gameplay. Correct. You found a couple, you checked out a couple clips, you found a couple shit posty moments, you found a couple meme moments. Well, I guess let me ask you something a little bit away from the VTuber topic. We've kind of been bouncing in and out of VTubers and like VTuber adjacent topics already, right? So in terms of like streamers or like content creators that you watch, what do you mostly watch in general on YouTube? Do you watch like stream highlights or clips, or do you watch the streams in general in the background while you're doing stuff?
Yeah, usually I'm unless it's like an event, or if it's like maybe like a fighting game weekly or something like that, I'll pay more attention to it. Sometimes I'll just have, like I said, if it's a game that I'm interested in and I want to watch people play, I'll check it out, right? On Twitch, but mostly I'm going to Twitch to watch live events, right? Very rarely am I going to Twitch to just watch somebody talk about their life, right? Like I'm usually watching either somebody playing online, like a top level player playing online, or somebody that I enjoy playing games online, or hosting a tournament or something like that. You know what I mean? But I do also enjoy some of the more casual sort of streams where it's somebody playing casual games online, or just, chilling online and playing ranked or whatever, and talking with people and having a conversation and all that, or like open lobbies. You don't see it as much anymore because the games don't really have open lobbies, but like during the Street Fighter 4 days, you would have all open lobbies and people would just come in and chat and hang out and talk, right? So you get a lot of that. YouTube, it's a lot of highlights and like sometimes it's scripted content, but I don't really do a lot of like the
streams,
like the pro, right, or like the stream people
events,
right?
Like the events on, or like the high level play on YouTube. Okay.
Well, no. That's kind of what I'm watching. What I'm talking about is I don't watch like the how do I say this? I'm trying to like find people. I don't watch like Pokey or like XQC or all these other like high level like these people that are like the top
that
1%
are like massive on
streamers.
Twitch. Yeah, no, you don't watch
Right.
them. You don't watch them on YouTube. Okay, I get you.
Or I don't watch them on Twitch. I don't watch them on YouTube. Really, like the only people like that, again, just because I don't know, they just don't rub me the right way. The only one I kind of like is Ludwig, and because I think he's kind of funny, and I have also had Dr. Disrespect kind of grow on me, but he's also talented. So like if I'm gonna watch somebody play a game, I want to watch them be good at it.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of my thought process.
Okay,
and,
so you're
Doc is good.
Yeah, so like there's this conversation I've heard on a different podcast that I listened to. I don't even remember which one it was specifically, but people basically saying like, you know, people come to watch streamers because they're one of three things. Usually they're informative, they're extremely good, skilled at the game, or they're very entertaining. So you kind of fall more into like the high skill aspect of when you watch content.
Right, because that's kind of what I strive to be, right?
I guess
is to be like somebody that's talented at these games.
Yeah, like, so I guess maybe that's why there's also like a shift in terms of like entertainment, I guess, in terms of like when we're going to VTubers, right? Because like for me, like I find myself wanting to be like decent at most games, right? And that's the thing is like I guess for me is like I find a lot of streamers who are like decent at a lot of games, but like like some like maybe cracked at one or two games, and then like for everything else they're relatively relaxed and chill and comfy. Maybe that's why there's a slight different bit in terms of like the content I'm able to consume and continue to consume now as a fan of VTubers versus you who really couldn't find that kind of level of gameplay, I guess, when you were looking at VTubers, I guess maybe, right?
Right, because I just want to get good because I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I think something also that I really enjoy is like comfy streams. Like there's a couple who are just like, you know, just really relaxed and they have, you know, pleasant voices, which is always a plus, you know, especially if your job is talking on the internet, who I just like enjoy watching them, you know. There's like Sarah's Fauna from Hololive as well, and Ollie is a little more hyperactive. She's from Hololive Indonesia. Hana Makia is from Indonesia as well, and she's like, she has like comfy streams, and when she games, she's a bit of a mix of like, I play a lot of video games, but also she can also be like clumsy at video games. You know what I mean? Like there's that I really find kind of endearing for them. So maybe
do you just want to gush for like 5 minutes while I step away for a minute?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Just gush to the audience.
I get you. Cool. Yeah,
I'll be right back.
Okay, so audience, I'm in control now. This is my I guess a quick trip down how I fell down this rabbit hole is I found a clip of Kiryu Coco, a couple clips of Pokimane, and a couple clips of Kureiji Ollie. So 2 Hololive talents and one from VOMs. And the reason why I think I ended up coming down this even more so, aside from seeing like Japanese clips, is hearing them actually speak English and being able to reach me personally on a relatively comfortable level, right? Because they speak English. And then I think after that was the step into watching translated clips and then falling down the rabbit. Like that's when I started really falling down even more so after the 3 that I mentioned before who speak English and Japanese and, you know, possibly other languages. And the translated clips is like, you know, they're like an integral part of the VTubing community, some of which are more popular than others. Some are dedicated to a specific streamer or talent. So if you want to get into watching VTubers, you know, you can I would say look out clips, and then if you realize one person does specifically one streamer's like highlights only, you know, or I guess a majority of them, right? You can check out that person if you specifically like a specific talent that you watch, right? Like one that I watch that comes to mind right off the bat is Vaan. I think it's Vaan. They are a clipper for Ina from Hololive, and then there's another one, Holocrum, who is a dedicated was a dedicated Tsukumo Sana clipper. Sana had recently retired from Hololive to pursue other things, and they usually have like funny moments, you know, cute moments from their streams and like interactions with other streamers mostly on like that involve the clipper, the VTuber that they really enjoy. So if you find a talent that you really like, see if they have a dedicated clipper or clippers who focus most of their content around them. And as mentioned before, in the first half, there was a boom of VTubers in 2020. It kind of cooled down a little bit as of right now, but it's still growing very much so here in the West. Like, again, like I really, really enjoy this type of streaming content. You know, a lot of times I'll just throw on, like, especially ones who do speak a little bit of English or do speak primarily English. I'll throw on their streams, like, you know, in the background while I'm doing work or doing other stuff on the computer. You know, much like how a lot of people I know for sure, watch regular Twitch streams or YouTube streams and just have them on in the background and like tune in when there's like a moment that seems to be entertaining for them, I guess, during the stream. You know, so again, I'd say treat VTubers as just streamers. You know, they're people. They're people behind an avatar. And you know, if the content is there for you, then perfect. If you know, if it's not your type of content, don't force it and don't hate it. You know, just say not for me and move along. I think I've already gotten a little bit of it from Jeff, where he said it might just not be for him, but he understands, you know, how it can be important for other people to be using this style of content creation for, you know, for themselves, for others, for just their own general safety and comfort levels of, you know, how they want to do stuff. Check it out if you're interested. If, you know, even if you're not interested, just check it out. At least try to understand it. You know, that's I try to recommend to people, at least step outside of your comfort zone, just check things out. And if it's not for you, just move along. You don't have to hate it. You don't have to love it. You don't have to fall down the rabbit hole like I did. You can be a super fan for all I care. You know, I have friends who are very, very into particular streamers and buy merch and stuff like that too, which I have done as well. My first piece of VTuber merch was a vinyl stand figure of Ozara Subaru from Hololive Japan. I bought her summer figurine with her in a yukata holding a candy apple. And also I bought the little plushy duck with a hat on it because that is her like mascot essentially.
Oh, thank you for for doing that. Oh my god.
I got you.
That was tough. Yeah.
And so since you were away, basically all I did was like talk about like how I fell down the rabbit hole.
Right.
You know, again, like I got into 3 English speaking or multilingual streamers that I really got into. They brought me in, and then I watched. That's when I started, and then after that, I started watching clips, like starting to understand how to watch clips. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know what the moment was for me actually, that I knew I was in the rabbit hole, that I had to like accept it. You know what I mean? Because again, I mentioned it before. I was like, I'm gonna tiptoe around. Let me just take a look. Oh, I'm a casual fan. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
You know how like, oh, I'm kind of a Marvel fan. Like, you know, like I've watched a couple of the movies and they're fine. And then like, you know, the moment you find out someone reads all the comics, you're like, oh, you read the comics? It's like, yeah, I wanted to see what this was from, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
The moment was when Kiryu Coco graduated from Hololive, when she basically left the company and like, you know, like had like a going away stream essentially on her thing. And it was like, I remember it was like, I don't remember the number exactly now, but I think it was like 400 to 500,000 concurrent viewers on YouTube on their last stream on YouTube. It also, and you know, it spiked even more so, I think, during like the end of the stream, because Hololive is like a streamer, like quote unquote idol company, like IDOL. So they do like music and musical performances with like 3D tracking and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So they have like these like, you know, extravagant like, you know, like stages with them in like, you know, like idol outfits. You know what I mean? They're wearing, you know, like the Japanese like centric kind of like the skirt and, you know, like the white boots, you know what I mean, kind of deal.
Oh, right.
So like it was like that, and I remember like watching and being like emotional during that stream, because like they were saying their goodbyes to their gen mates, to the other people within the company, you know, to the newcomers of the company, and they were like saying their goodbyes and, you know, some advice and, you know, sorry we couldn't collaborate more, and yeah, and I was like, and I could feel myself getting like emotional, and I'm like, shit. I'm in. Like, this is it. This is the moment I know for sure I'm not gonna deny it anymore, world. I am a VTuber fan and I am proud.
Clip in SpongeBob saying he's ugly and he's proud here.
Yeah, I'll take care of it for you. I got you, fam.
Thank you.
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Louder.
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Louder.
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Yeah, I guess like for your first look into the rabbit hole. So again, you said what was the major point again for you? What was the major point again for you? Is like you understand what it is. You're not the biggest fan of it.
I support it. I get it. I just don't think I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole. I think once in a while maybe, but I think that's about it.
Do you at least think you find those random funny out of context clips like Sakura and Miko playing GTA 5 are like enough for you to like enjoy at least?
Yes,
like
it's funny as hell.
The shitposty stuff is more kind of like your speed, I guess, in terms of this stuff, right?
Like everything else in life.
Yeah, I get you. Okay. Yeah, so if that's the case, maybe if I find something funny, I'll just send it to you, and like at least you and me will be able to enjoy it. Maybe not everybody else in our group.
No, they won't because they're all boomers. But
yeah, they're very much so in their lane. Okay, and I guess one little thing, I guess the last thing that I have here on my list of I want to cover, the relation with this in the anime community. So, I guess quick background here. I don't think we've ever got into this discussion before. But what is your relationship with anime? Like, what anime do you watch? What type of anime do you watch? When did you start watching anime?
God. So I mean, obviously I started like we all did kind of in our right before our teenage years, obviously with the shonen anime, and it just kind of continued into like seinen and seinen.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like the older kid,
young
to
adult, yeah,
to
usually more serious topics, not always like action. Can be a little bit of drama, like stuff like that.
And honestly, I'm kind of a boomer in that, like, I don't really watch anything outside of the stuff that I grew up with.
Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and clip that and ship that for myself because I've wanted you to just say it because I know it's the case. I just want to hear you say it. Because, keep going because I will expand on that in a second.
Yeah, like basically, like, okay, so I'm gonna watch like the new Digimon series. I'm gonna rewatch.
Which I've heard very good things about the new Digimon. I've heard good things about.
But like, I'm not gonna like. I'm scrolling through. So I'm scrolling through Crunchyroll right now, right? And basically, outside of the things that I immediately recognize, I don't know if I want to watch any of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to watch my stepmom's daughter as my ex. Like, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch Kaguya-sama Love is War.
Yo, Kaguya-sama's so good though.
No, I don't want to watch
so
it.
Good.
I don't want to watch Banished from the Heroes Party. I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside. No, unless this is a shitpost anime oh shit, what's the one that's basically like the parody?
There's a couple that are parodies of like most anime. Like Hayate the Combat Butler did a lot of parody early on. Gintama is like fantastic.
Gintama
is amazing, bro. I love Gintama so much. Gintama, whatever. Whatever it is.
I think it's Gintama. I need to watch more of it. I love it.
I think
it's so funny.
By the way, the live action movie is actually good.
Is it?
It's surprising to hear, right? Because most anime, like live action adaptations of anime, is really bad. But yeah, the live action is actually very, very enjoyable.
No, okay, this one made me laugh, so maybe this is a contender here. Hensuki, are you willing to fall in love with a pervert as long as she's a cut?
Yes. Yeah. Hensuki's fantastic, bro. I love Hensuki.
But okay. Like, so you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
You mostly watch like mostly shonen, some seinen, but mostly like I guess like mostly action based, I guess, for you then.
Right. It should be clear based on the games that I've given you and the things that we've talked about that it's unga bunga violence action. Male protagonist beats the shit out of everybody anime. I don't know. It's just
so rattling off here some things that we do share or in maybe not even share now, but like back in the day, right? DBZ, right? Yeah, I know you're a big fan of Dragon Ball and you still watch Super? Do you still watch Super?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I have not even gotten into Super. Have not personally not even got back into it. We both share a love for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I love Baki, and I remember I've told you to watch Baki, and I know it's absolutely your speed because it's the same. insanity of like just hyper violent. I know you'd enjoy it.
We both love Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu Hakusho is fantastic. It's a classic. The ending is sad, but whatever. Like I'll take what I can get. The ending is not great, but we'll take it. So that's your style of anime. Okay, so my style of anime, or at least my
and then going from there, like I will throw in like Hellsing, Trigun, Gantz.
Even more like again seinen, shonen stuff, basically, right?
Like I love Gantz. I think Gantz is so cool.
Amazing. Everyone, please read. Everyone, please read Gantz.
No, read Gantz. It's so awesome.
Berserk. Everyone read Berserk.
Oh yeah. I need to actually like read like go through Berserk and consume it the way it deserves.
I actually I put it on hold because obviously I was waiting for the continuation of it because I was like, I'm like deep enough in and like I can hold off, and then I'll reread it when it finally continues and finishes, right? And obviously that's unfortunately that's not gonna happen. Well, I mean, it is from my understanding, at least right now. That's the rumors anyway.
That's good.
So Kentaro Miura passed away. That was the author and writer of Berserk. Sorry, I'm gonna get yelled at for that. But like apparently his assistant or his best friend, I believe, is going to be finishing up the story because he supposedly the rumors are that the entire way that Miura wanted to finish the story was told to his assistant or his friend, essentially, and they're going to finish it.
That's awesome.
Which is great in some people's minds. Some people are saying no, just leave it as is because there is kind of like a soft ending as of right now, right? There's like a soft ending point. But I think for a lot of people, they want that closure. They've been following it for so long that they want a moment for it to finally wrap up, right? Yeah, so that's most of your stuff. Mostly mostly violence anime, basically. Violent, like shonen anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so. I guess maybe that's why for me, because my preferred anime tastes are, I still enjoy a lot of seinen and shonen stuff, right? But I also fall into a little bit of like shoujo stuff and some like romance drama stuff, and I also enjoy a lot of slice of life, which is just kind of comfy, right? That's kind of the
right,
like just like I don't know, New Game, K-On, there's some slice of life that has a little bit of drama mixed into it, right? Like Golden Time and Toradora, and then I also love some just real degen, just trash stories like a Domestic Girlfriend and like Scum's Wish and stuff like that, right? Which are just they're basically just like a typical K-drama, basically just an anime in just an anime or manga form, right? It's just like a lot of like looping turns and twists and like oh my god, this person fell in love with this person and then they cheated on them with this person and they still have feelings for this, it's like that, right? But like in terms of like I guess what relates it to VTubers for me is because I do enjoy slice of life, comfy, like kind of moe trash kind of anime stuff. I think that's why I enjoy VTubers so much, because it is like again like a lot of the ones that I do watch and I really really enjoy are really just they just have like comfy streams. It's like them playing a video game, kind of chatting, interacting, and just them doing stuff. And they can get sweaty in whatever game they play in, but I think I just like enjoying watching them just having fun. You know what I mean? I think that's what I think that's another reason why I've reached this like higher level of enjoyment with VTubers versus you in comparison. I guess that's it. I'm glad that you gave it a shot.
Look, I'm not here ranting and raving about it, right?
I was hoping
it's a happy ending.
I was scared you was gonna trash this like you trash Crypto the Necrodancer. That's what I was scared of.
Nope.
Yeah,
perfectly valid. They're awesome. They deserve to exist.
And I was like on the hopeful side, I was like, man, what if Jeff falls down the rabbit hole with me? I'm gonna be so glad I have a friend down here with me, keeping me company. It's fine.
Like I said, I'm not gonna say no. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be like, oh, no, this is awful. I think, honestly, I'm more open to this in the future now that I've dipped my toe in it.
Yeah.
Versus if I never did, I never would have known that it's not that bad.
Yeah. So what you're saying is there's a chance.
Maybe. But
there's a chance
not right now.
Fully fall down the rabbit hole with me eventually.
Maybe.
Full-blown degen, wearing your otaku gear, wearing the headbands and the glow sticks.
I know.
Yelling all the fan chants during the songs. Yeah, I think that's really about it here. Any last comments you want to make here?
No, I think that's it. I think everybody's kind of hovering over that, next episode button or whatever.
Yeah, I get next.
Because we've
next,
been going here.
Yeah, we've been going for a bit here going on now. Thank you, listener. Again, I've mentioned a couple of names here. Maybe we'll try to list them off in the description if
Jeff remembers.
If Jeff remembers, and if I do a good job of writing their names down.
Yeah.
Because I will be doing the edit for this episode relatively soon. So maybe if I write a list down, and maybe we'll just copy paste it into our info for this episode of this podcast. I should probably start doing this now, actually, now that I think about it. Leave us a rating. We are up on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple, Amazon. We finally figured it out.
We should probably do this.
Yeah, we should probably do these, the call to actions. We should probably actually do this and, actually try to promote ourselves properly like we're supposed to. So once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Well, again, we are on all the major streaming platforms now, on Google, on Amazon, on Spotify, on Apple. We finally figured it out. And if you can, on whichever one of those respective platforms you're on, please leave us a review, leave us a comment, leave us a rating. We would really, really appreciate it. And share with a friend. Again, if we can get more listeners here, we would very, very much appreciate it from you guys. And we may be setting up an email soon, and we'll be taking possible recommendations for stuff. And hopefully one of us already is in on that topic and the other one isn't, because the whole point is that one of us is in on a topic and wants to bring the other person with us, and have them at least take a look to see why we care about it so much. So I guess that'll be all for us for this episode. Take care, guys.
See ya.
What? Just you had something going on?
Oh, I had to take my talents to South Beach, if you know what I mean.
I get you.
Yeah, that was an express flight. It was coming.
I get you.
I mean, the plane was intact, but it was still coming, man.
Yeah, it's fine. You and other friends have told me you can't get me to shut up anyway. So it was like 5 minutes. I got this, easy.